No, we're going to have... I wish this was 300 milligrams of caffeine. I could have a milligram for every episode that we've done.
That might kill you.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And welcome to our 300th episode.
Oh,
Woo!
300. You know,
Yeah.
is that the Vazuza air horn? Is that still topical? Is that just a trend that died the last time there was what was it? What happens when all the soccer teams come together? World Cup, right?
World Cup, yeah. The last TV I had was like a World Cup sponsored TV, so every time you turned it on, you had the air horns. No. This week on this episode, we're going to be opening up Wonder Woman 84 for Christmas.
Oh, is she in like a really nice and shiny box that makes you tell the truth if you get the ribbon wrapped around your wrist?
Exactly, that's what it is. You can unwrap her underneath your Christmas tree, Mike, if you want to.
Oh, Chris, no, this isn't Superhero Slate After Dark.
Yeah,
this is
sorry.
just the 300th episode.
No, never mind. You can watch it with your family on Christmas. How about that?
Yeah.
Marvel is filming almost every one of their TV series right now. We'll talk more about that check-in later. The CW is sadly losing Black Lightning.
Oh, okay.
And more.
That's interesting to hear because I feel like I just saw news the other day about a character getting a spin-off.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see what happens when we get down to that section. But man, 300th episode, I'm buzzing on caffeine right now.
Yes.
Chris and I have been playing the new Miles Morales Spider-Man game. So as soon as I woke up today, my wife was busy doing things today, so I was like, oh, I'm hopping right on the console and I'm playing Spider-Man, because I was like, oh, if I'm just quick enough, maybe I'll be able to beat it and we can talk about it on this week's episode. But I came up just short before we started recording, so we're going to review the game next week. But I got entrenched in the game and I didn't eat lunch, and then I started drinking this Rockstar 240 milligrams of caffeine energy drink. So it's like I'm celebrating the 300th episode with lots of caffeine, like no food in me at all. So I'm like buzzing. So I'm going to be all over the place for this episode. So this might be the perfect energy that you need to celebrate 300 episodes, or I'm just going to be unable to focus and I will have no hot takes. There'll be buzzy takes that don't make any sense.
The problem with Mike is he's a completionist and he won't go into that final mission without doing everything.
Yeah, it's like it gives me the prompt that says X to continue and like circle to back out. And I love when I hit circle, Spider-Man literally does a 180 and like zips away from the mission. Like, nope, gotta get the hell out of there. I can't cross this threshold.
Exactly. It's an electric line. Let's get away. So yeah, I beat it to last night, and I'm on my New Game Plus. So next week we'll talk about it. We might do that separately, Mike, just in case people are getting it for the holidays and haven't had a chance to play through.
Yeah, I guess that's true. People might be waiting to play it on the PS5, and I thought it was really funny last night when I was kind of monitoring Twitter. Apparently there was a PS5 like flash sale, like they were available, and you'll never guess the store that had them. It was Kohl's. Like if you went on Kohl's website, you could get a PS5 there for a brief amount of time. Nobody was expecting it, and then my favorite part about it was, since it was such a large purchase, usually a purchase that you don't usually make $500 purchases at Kohl's, right?
Well, you're wrong, but go on.
I mean, unless you're like a mom with 5 kids and it's back to school time and you just bought like all the denim in the store. But all these people are just like, I got $130 in Kohl's cash now. Like, what do I buy at Kohl's? Like, some people are like, what's Kohl's? I've never been there before, but I got my PlayStation there. So I just think that's hilarious because I feel like I remember back in the day, like you could sometimes be walking around like a random department store and there would be like a console of that time, like a next-gen console, just like, oh, there's a PS4 here, at Ross Dress for Less. Why is it here? I'm buying it. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, well, and we live in a world where you can do like online inventory checkers now, right? Like that's what a lot of people are doing. Kohl's is not one of those you go to check their inventory for. And I've been so the only other non-food store closest to me is a Big Lots or a Kohl's where I currently live. If you go into the Kohl's electronics section, is probably as wide as my desk here and just as long. It's very, very small, but they have the same vinyl records over and over there. If you're ever looking for cheap vinyl records, do you want do you want Prince's Purple Rain? They have it there. You can find it. So Kohl's definitely a weird choice. My mom loves to shop at Kohl's. I don't know why, but she loves it. I bought some blankets there a couple months ago, but that's it.
Yeah, the 300th episode of Superhero Slate, sponsored by Kohl's. Head on over to the Kohl's to get $100 in Kohl's cash with every $500 purchase.
We can't make that promise. Don't make those promises, Mike. I don't want people to tell us. But the other thing is, I'm going to tell you, I'm drinking one of my energy drinks here. I didn't drink it this morning that I normally do. It's got 200 milligrams of caffeine in a 12-ounce can. So
we're getting cranked over here, guys.
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. I can't even talk. That's how bad it is. So we're gonna do that. Mike, I just want to double check with you. Someone said your volume last week was a little low. What lights are you seeing on your Blue Yeti X? How many yellows?
I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing 5.
5 yellows?
Here we go.
Okay, let's see here.
I think this is your volume I'm cranking up.
No? Oh, maybe. Damn. Is it the blue? Is it the blue button with the microphone underneath it?
I'm checking.
You guys got to listen to us test this live because I want to make sure our volume's good to go.
Okay, I'm on the blue lights now, right?
One blue light.
2,
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think I'm on 4. Should I do 4 or 5 blue lights?
Well, when you talk, what's your yellow lights go? I go up to 2 yellow lights.
I can get up to 3, sometimes a red. Let me crank it down 1 here.
Okay. All right.
Wow. All right. Okay. This episode is already off the rail. Okay, I think this is good.
I love it.
I'm seeing 2, sometimes clip into 3. Okay, we're good.
That's perfect. I see 1 and 2, so I think we're good there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to jump into something I watched this week, Mike, that you can't talk about on our Quaranstream because you didn't watch it. And everyone should watch it because it's on Disney Plus, right? Who doesn't have Disney Plus at this point in their life? If you're not watching Mandalorian every week, what is wrong with you? No, I'm kidding. You can watch whatever you want. But the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, a 47-minute ride through almost every fun Star Wars moment for all of eternity, popped up. And while it does not have the original voice actors for Rey, Finn, and Poe, it does have a lot of original voice actors in terms like Billy D. Williams and Anthony Daniels for C-3PO. And it even veers into, dare I say, almost Robot Chicken territory in their portrayal of the Emperor Palpatine at the end of Return of the Jedi. The show, I'm not going to spoil it because I don't think there's any spoilers, but it deals with Life Day, right? Which is the what the original holiday special dealt with. But Rey is sent through all of these big moments through time. And you're going to get multiple versions of characters and everything. And I will tell you, even Baby Yoda makes a full appearance in this. They go through the Mandalorian, and it's so fun with the hijinks these Lego things can do, right? Because it's Lego. It's not real. It's not real canon. But it's fun to do this because they can. And to see what, like, there's actually, you'll see this on your new TV, Mike, because you have a 4K television this week to watch on. The detail they put on, like, Legos to make them look texturized.
Yeah. I guess we'll be fine to be able to say that. I haven't been able to watch it just yet because in the household we try our best to save the real premium holiday viewing material for after Thanksgiving. Or, if we want to make it a little bit earlier, we'll do it after Thanksgiving dinner. We'll still do it technically on the day. But the closest analog to me as a person is probably my brother, which makes a lot of sense. We were raised in the same household by the same parents. We watched the same stuff growing up. And he went out of his way to text me to let me know that he really enjoyed it. And he's a pretty facetious person, but he told me that he thought it was better than episode 9, which is not going to be hard for me to agree with, but I'm not really sure if he was being serious or not, but he seemed to really enjoy it. So I'm looking to get down with the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special soon.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you hopefully maybe next week we can talk about it, because like I said, it's a brisk 47 minutes, right? It jumps in and it goes because it's got to touch all these other movies throughout the whole thing. But it's definitely funny. I laughed out loud a few times, and you're gonna really enjoy some of the characters through here. So, it's even kind of, I don't think this ruins it. You remember the old Rudolph live action or animated movie,
the kind of stop motion stuff.
Yep, and it started with Frosty, or I guess a snowman in a top hat and like a vest. It does that, but with Lego Yoda in this, and I'm like, this is beautiful. Like this is exactly what I needed. You're gonna notice since you're watching the Clone Wars, a lot of the other voice actors in this are Clone Wars actors.
Oh, great!
So you're gonna be like, oh, I recognize that voice. That's not who that is, but I recognize that voice. So that's really fun. With that, have you made any more progress on your Clone Wars?
I'm slowly working my way through.
Okay.
I'm still in season 6, so hopefully before the end of the year. Well, really, the goal is to finish the Clone Wars before we see Ahsoka pop up in Mandalorian. Like it's not like a requirement because Ahsoka obviously continues on into Rebels, and I believe she's in some other stuff possibly that I'm not thinking of. So it's not like this is gonna completely tie up her character, but I would kind of like to see her arc finish before I see her live action.
Well, we'll talk about that exact point later in the episode. So, yeah, that's it. So I would highly recommend the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special. On the other side of this coin, Mike, I tracked down a copy of Nicolas Cage's Jiu-Jitsu.
From somebody who just said, if you're not watching The Mandalorian, you're crazy. What are you even doing? And you're over here spending your time watching Jiu-Jitsu.
I did. Let me tell you, if any movie could encapsulate 2020... it is this film.
I think to refresh the audience, this is that crazy movie where an alien comes to Earth and Nicolas Cage does kung fu on the alien.
Well, so that's what I'd like you to think. I looked into this because I was like, where's this movie at? Where can maybe I can stream it somewhere, right? It just came out, I believe, in Vietnam on Friday.
Oh, wow.
It's nowhere to be found. Nicolas Cage only did 5 days of filming on this whole movie.
Oh man, he's a businessman. He gets return on his time.
Me and my wife usually don't make fun of movies a lot, but this is a horrible, no good, very bad film, Mike. And it's to the point where I was laughing at it. Like that's how bad it is. Because it's essentially the Predator meets Mortal Kombat is what it feels like throughout this whole thing. And there's the effects are horrible. They, I believe they use cutscenes or like framing devices for the beginning into this movie, and the transitions are comic book panels, like literal watercolors and comic book. There's no inclination that this is a comic book film, right? I think they just wanted to do that. But my other thing is, I think they filmed this movie 2020, shut down the industry. So like, how do we not do reshoots?
Oh, I see.
We use these animated comic book panels to move between scenes, but even then. Like it does first-person jiu-jitsu at a certain second. Like you take,
so you're just seeing like fists come out of the camera.
Yeah, you like one of them. Like that's exactly it. You see fists and legs. So you're like the main character for a little bit, and then like you get thrown up against the wall, and then the camera stays there, and then he comes out and fights someone in front of you, and then he comes back, and next thing you know, you're back into that person's body. It is wild. The decisions in this movie are mind-blowing. The effects are terrible. There are some very long shots. I don't feel like anyone was doing real jiu-jitsu the whole time. And it's got Tony Jaa in it, like, you know, from the Raid and the Raid 2, like, you know, known for this.
They didn't pay him enough to unlock his jiu-jitsu knowledge. He's like, no, you're just going to get some basic karate out of me. You gotta reach a certain threshold before I bust out the Jew.
Yeah, and I don't know who's going to watch this, but, like, there's also these certain, like, they look like, they're not cloaks, but they look like kind of like vests with hoods. And if you wear them, this alien cannot see you. You are invisible to this person. Everything else about you is open except this cloak you're wearing now. Like, it's just a cloth cloak. It makes no sense. It's absolutely laughable. If you need a good laugh at a Nicolas Cage movie, and his other one had a trailer come out. I didn't put it in here. The Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, we can talk about it later. But if you need a good laugh, I'd recommend checking into Jiu-Jitsu and just... You can be on your phone while you know, but you're gonna laugh at how bad this movie is.
Well, I like how, since you brought up Predator, talking about this does foreshadow another topic in the show. So, man, we're just seeding all of the news this week. You gotta stick around. You gotta stay tuned.
And I was gonna watch the movie Fat Man this week, the Mel Gibson Santa Claus being hunted by a killer, but I'm gonna save that for after Thanksgiving because that's a holiday movie.
Yeah, I mean, I normally don't condone piracy in any way, but I can't. I'm not gonna uncancel Mel Gibson in my head. He's still a really bad person, but it seems like I might be able to watch this movie for free without giving him any money. But I suppose he was already paid. But I don't know. He could be one of those types of guys that kind of gets the back end on movies because they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to risk them. I don't know.
It's got a Walton Goggins in it, man, and I gotta support him. That's
the Goggins. I mean, I know we're about to transition into the Quaranstream here, but he's in a
we're in the Quaranstream. Don't worry.
He's in a show called the Unicorn that just started season 2. I believe it's NBC, or I think it's CBS actually, but the first season is on Netflix. So if you're looking for something family friendly, and I love the Goggins, you can check out the Unicorn on Netflix right now.
Yeah. And then the last thing I want to talk about Jiu-Jitsu is something you brought up. It's got the Crab Man from My Name is Earl. And he plays, it doesn't give us away, the translator for the Myanmar Burma region that they're in, but he doesn't know any of the language. And then he's like, God damn it, this movie.
You can't even get a straight face through the rest of this.
Oh my! I was laughing. Like, this is so bad. Like normally, I'm like, I don't watch horribly. I wouldn't even recommend this to my bad films class because I don't think it's that kind of bad film. But if you guys get a chance to not pay money to watch Jiu-Jitsu, or you're looking for something like you're like, was Bloodshot the worst movie this year, or was New Mutants the worst movie this year? No, Jiu-Jitsu by far takes his cake, and you should give it a chance if you're looking for something horribly fun to watch. This is something I wish I thought if I'd been drinking and watching this. So
that'd be a good combo
with friends. Yeah. So that's what I can think of on my Quaranstream this week. Between Spider-Man, the Lego Star Wars, and Jiu-Jitsu, it's been quite an experience, Mike. So you're gonna dive in a couple things here. I know the first two, but the third one is striking my curiosity here. So
I thought I'd bring it up. I thought you might like this. So it's an awkward moment in our household right now for the wife and I, because we're between two holidays, right? Once October wrapped up, we stopped watching the spooky stuff, the scary stuff, the family Halloween stuff, the Halloween towns, the Hoobie Halloweens, if you will. And, there's not a whole lot of Thanksgiving content to watch, right? I mean, you got Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which unfortunately is not streaming anywhere. I already looked it up. Cough, cough, wink, wink, nudge, nudge from Chris over here.
That's a staple in my household.
And one I forgot about, Garfield has a Thanksgiving thing. I don't know if it's feature length or if it's like 40 minutes, but I do remember Animated Garfield has like a Thanksgiving thing that I haven't watched in a while, where I think they go over to John Arbuckle's mom's house. I haven't seen it since a kid, but beyond those two things, there's not a whole lot to watch.
Well, can I also point out Knives Out is set during Thanksgiving, I believe.
Oh, is it?
I believe so. Someone I pulled up a list I saw the other day of Thanksgiving movies, and I believe it was on that list.
Hey, that's a good movie, so that's a good poll. But my wife and I are purists. We do our best to save all the premium Christmas stuff, like I said, till after Thanksgiving. So we've been watching some like Christmas trash, like some Hallmark cheap, low-budget Netflix stuff. But, we got to find things to fill the time. So luckily, the brand new rebooted Animaniacs just hit Hulu, and I believe all the episodes dropped at once. It's not just one episode, which was a pleasant surprise. So we watched the first episode, and it was magnificent. I loved it. They retooled the theme song a little bit. They still have baloney in their slacks, which was my biggest concern, because they were changing some things there. I was like, oh my God, where's the baloney? Where's the baloney part? So bam, they still have baloney in their slacks if you're watching the intro. They incorporate two fun Animaniacs songs. I would say those are like the really, really big memorable parts of the original Animaniacs, is when Wacko would do his songs. So those are still pretty strong in here. We get Pinky and the Brain returning in the first episode. So I don't know what other side acts they're going to bring back in some of the other episodes, but we do have Pinky and the Brain. And I would say the writers were really, really smart. I was worried when they would start doing stories about like memes and updated, modern times, it wouldn't resonate, because there's almost this weird moment where when you're a kid watching Animaniacs, they do all of these references to things that you don't understand, but you're like, oh, they're making adult jokes. So this show is like edgy and I'm a kid, so this is extra funny even though I don't understand it. So I understood every reference in the new modern Animaniacs, and I still enjoyed it. And they even make fun at the fact that their main demographic for this show are a bunch of old dads, so they got to make sure that they have good old dad jokes in here. So even though I'm not a dad yet, I'm at the appropriate age for the reference that they're making. So it was just fun. It was a good time. They get very meta with it. So if you are an OG Animaniacs fan, there's no reason you shouldn't check this out. They're doing a great job rebooting it. So I'm looking forward to go back and watching the other episodes. And I was surprised to see that they didn't skimp out. I was going to scroll through and I was expecting to see 8 episodes. I think they're up to 13. So I was like, good for them. They really put a good episode order in.
Yeah, they did. Well, the second one's already in production. I think they put in 2 right out the gate, two sets of 13. So you shouldn't have a long wait for the next one, it sounds like.
Yeah, so that's great. Number 2, this is an interesting thing that we got to do during the pandemic out here in Los Angeles, is we got to go to the Stranger Things, the drive-into experience. Mm-hmm. And this whole thing, there's so much to break down here. So I checked, and I don't believe this is in any other city at the moment. So what this is what I believe happened was a live events company. I forgot the name of it. I think it's like Fever or something like that. It seems like they probably approached Netflix and said, hey, we're in a pandemic. We want to do a live event. Can we team up with you and basically use your Stranger Things IP? And I think Netflix was just like, well, yeah, hell yeah. No one else is doing anything right now out in the pandemic. So they created this live event where you drive in and you stay in your car the whole time. So I had no idea what this thing was going to be. We were invited through some friends, and we were, wearing masks in our car the whole time. And also, these are friends that live across the street from us. We know pretty much their daily schedule, just like they know ours, and we knew we were safe. And actually, I just got a COVID test back this morning, and I'm COVID-free. So we were being very responsible. I just want to put that out there. I'm not just going to get into a car with a bunch of strangers during a pandemic. So I had no idea what this thing was going to be, but we showed up and we roll in with our car and we see all of these like signs that say, oh, tune your radio to this airwaves so they can pump the audio experience into your car. So right there, that was cool and very, very smart. And we pull in and everything was themed like a Hawkins high school reunion, right? So we pull up and there's this little stage in the front and this guy who's supposed to be like the Hawkins, he's like a Hawkins faculty person. He's trying to like pep everybody up. He's doing like jazzercise up there. He's like pointing the cars and it's like, oh, it looks like Stacy is back. She's from the class of 83. Stacy was great. So he was doing some improv up there and he was doing some sound and response of just like, oh, if you're from the class of, 92, honk your horn, flash your lights. So I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting. And then you look out from your car and you see like the Stranger Things kids. They're like walking around, they're riding their bikes, and it looks like they're up to no good. And it was smart because even they're wearing masks, because the idea is that Hawkins has experienced like a gas leak and like a toxic gas leak. So even the people in Hawkins need to wear masks. And it's perfect for when you're trying to cast doubles for these characters that you've seen from the TV show. So it's just like, man, if you're looking for somebody that wants to look like Will, just give him that really awful haircut, and it doesn't matter if his face looks like Will because you're putting a mask on him and it's just going to look like him no matter what. So you're kind of in your car and you're doing this whole like high school reunion thing, and then the kids are running around and they're on bikes, and if you remember the character of Max, the kind of the edgy girl with the skateboard, right? Yeah. Like she would walk around and look in your car and then she would just like flip you off. So I was like, they were really in character. It was really fun. And then I was kind of expecting like, okay, this is cool. What's going to happen here? Are they going to develop some sort of narrative and story? And they kind of were. Every once in a while, the kids would get on like walkie-talkies and you could kind of hear it come through the car. And then like 11 and Max would go up to the stage and do like a dance, but then like 11 would freak out and then the lights around the parking lot would go off. And I was like, oh, okay, the narrative's starting to move here. And then all of a sudden, the director, like there's somebody with flashlights, trying to move our car out of the parking lot. And I was like, okay, was that it? Is the experience over? We didn't really get kind of like a wrap up. What's going on here? But then we go around through some cones and then we start to go into this parking garage and then things start to unfold even more. We go to a second staging area.
Where we another staging area?
Yeah, where we see all of these like Russians are trying to do experiments, and then somebody comes dressed out as like a Demogorgon. And, it's just really, really cool. They put a lot of effort into this, and I would have to say for the amount of time that they had to get this out and operational, I mean, come on, if they started planning this at the very beginning of the pandemic, I mean, they maybe had 5-6 months to really get things going and planned. And I don't want to spoil anything. I know it's not really out there everywhere, so I don't want to spoil too much more. If you're listening in LA, I think maybe there's still dates where you can still go to it, because it was a big setup. It seems like a lot of work for it to only be one weekend, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's more dates where you can go check it out. So there's a couple different staging areas. They do some pretty cool light and sound and visual work, and by the end of it, it's almost like this weird meta, like Stranger Things play, where you're seeing things play out from different seasons. So overall, I would say it's a very engaging experience, and it's very clever, but you do kind of start to see the limitations of how much you can do when you're stuck in your car. You know, it's just like, I'm glad that the pandemic won't be around forever, and we're starting to get news of vaccines, because if they put the exact same amount of money into an experience where you're out of your car on foot, it would just be a game changer. It would be so much more fun. But since you're restricted to your car, it's just kind of like, oh, this is cool. This is fun. I'm in a pandemic. What else am I going to be able to do right now anyway, you know?
So this whole thing, I mean, it sounds interesting to me, but I'm also like, you know, that would have been a really, really cool haunted house, like for October to go to. Something really kind of crazy like that. But like, I agree, sitting in my car, it's like, you know, it's fine. But like, you know, is it like a Christmas light show? Like where you drive through the Christmas light setups? They do that here at an underground cave. Like
it's not a total drive-through experience. You drive to the next location, and then somebody like signals you to stop, park here, and then you watch the events fold, and you go to the next area, you stop and park, the next events unfold. So they do a lot of really clever stuff to kind of stage you and set you and point your car where it needs to go. So I would have to give the project manager a round of applause for just the sheer logistics. But yeah, it is a little unfortunate of what you can and can't do in a car. But you know what? If you got your tickets booked, you know, look forward to it. Don't waste your money on the food. They like sell you food in the first staging area, and it's not worth it. But it's a real like movie theater going experience. You get price gouged for food that really isn't that great to begin with. But yeah, it was a weird, crazy experience. I'm looking forward to the world getting back to normal. So the next time I do some sort of branded, you know, cross media experience, maybe I can be on my feet. But Stranger Things, the drive into experience. Very, very 2020. Really interesting.
Okay. All right. So the next thing on my list, I've seen hundreds of episodes. So I'm curious as to why Doctor Who is on your list all of a sudden.
Well, Chris, to your hundreds of episodes you've seen, I have now officially seen one episode of Doctor Who. Like I said at the top of the Quaranstream, wife and I are looking for something to watch. We don't know what we want to dive into, what we want to sink our teeth into, but we were just like, you know what? Hey, let's watch Doctor Who. Let's give it a shot. Andy, my wife, had a friend say, oh, if you want to start watching it, just start watching it at the David Tennant season. You know, don't worry about the older episodes. You know, don't get too crazy. Just find where David Tennant starts being the Doctor and just start to watch there. So I don't know if technically maybe he pops up in like a Christmas special or whatever first, because I know Doctor Who likes to do that. So we watched, I guess it's season 2, episode 1, where David Tennant comes in, and it was, I mean, I knew it was going to be campy, but like, wow, this show is like this. It's entertaining. So that's the most important part. It's entertaining, and wow, is it campy.
So I started watching it with the Christopher Eccleston, who was essentially season 1 to where you're starting, which is the he's the 9th Doctor, if you will, like 40 years later after they've whole started. They're like season 2. I'm like, yeah, that's only if you count like the reboot that started in like 05 or whatever. So I really like Eccleston, but it ties so much into David Tennant because of his companion, Rose Tyler. Is it Rose Tyler?
Yeah, I think that was her name.
Yeah, she's such an integral part of that. I'm really surprised I didn't have you start there just to watch that first season. But you're right. The graphics aren't good. The production value is kind of low. It's campy as shit for sci-fi. But he's so charming. They're so charming in those roles. Like, they sell it, you know. And is that the one, does he Does he lose his hand at the end of that one? I believe.
Oh no! Spoilers. Oh, I guess it's not that big of a deal.
It's not spoiler. It's definitely not spoiler. I'm
no,
this the one.
This
where
is the this is the episode where they go to New York, which was funny because I think I know where maybe Futurama finally got that reference from. And then there's like this species of like cat doctors that are experimenting on humans to like cure humans that navigated to this planet like a long time ago. But I just love how they do not hold back at all. I just imagine the writers' rooms is just like, no, go as crazy sci-fi as you want. Don't worry about the budget. We'll figure it out when we get to shooting. You know, we'll have the props department build whatever they can. It doesn't matter if we have to use bad CGI. Or if we're like the elevators at their end just look like dressing rooms. I feel like I can see where they remove the mirrors off the walls, but I just love it. It just feels very scrappy, you know, and it's just so hilarious, but also like they're doing some really cool sci-fi stuff, and I love how they don't hold back. And I feel like I got everything. I got it all in just one episode of Doctor Who. I'm not saying I'm not going to watch more, like I got my fill, but I totally understand everything that Doctor Who is now just after watching like one episode.
And what's crazy is a lot of the stuff that they wrote, it's not that they're creating new stuff. A lot of it has been in Doctor Who for years before, and like the new ones will pull little bitty tidbits out of it to create the new stuff.
It was just wild. Like if I would have recorded myself reacting to this, it would have been crazy, because not only do you start right off, you know, with this Rose character, if that's her name's right, that you said, you know, from the previous season, I have no context of who she is. So she just goes right into like just being like, oh, here's a new doctor with like a new face. Like, I guess she's like romantically interested with him at some point, but like at the very beginning of the episode, she says bye to like her friends or family, and she was like kissing them bye, and one of the kisses was kind of like very intimate, so we were just like, wait, does she like this person and also like the doctor? But more through the episode, my wife and I was like, no, I think they were just friends. I don't know if we'll ever see them again. I don't know if it really matters.
Was it Mickey?
And I don't remember anybody's name. And then like the doctor, you know, I knew the sonic screwdriver was like this big like a MacGuffin type thing that can do anything. So that was funny to see it pop out. It could open doors. It can do whatever it wants it to do. He straps IV bags to him, and he like goes down an elevator shaft, and he's like just ripping them open and squeezing them into like stuff. And there was like this big head in a jar that was just like, oh, I'll see you later, you know, foreshadowing another episode. I'm like, this is wild. So I feel like I'm finally indoctrinated into kind of Doctor Who a little bit. I'm sure there's other milestones I gotta hit. You know, I've seen like a list over and over again of like these quintessential episodes you have to watch, and I know I haven't seen those. There's Christmas specials that I haven't watched, and I've only experienced one Doctor so far.
That's the crazy part, because like, so I now know you're watching the first of his season, not his actual regeneration episode where he turns in from the other version to this version, and that's what I thought you said when you were watching it, because I'm like, oh, okay, because that's technically his first appearance is, you know, when he was turning into it.
It's not his first appearance. I guess it's just the season 2 episode 1.
But his first appearance is the Christmas episode right before this. Like that.
Oh, I had a feeling, because when I looked it up on IMDb, it said like season 2 episode 0 was like a Christmas special. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I bet maybe that's when David Tennant shows up.
Yeah, so that's when he shows up for the first time from the other one. If you get a chance and you can go watch the previous season, season 1, I think you might feel a little more flow with it, but I understand like if it's too much to get into it. I totally get it.
Oh man, at the end of the episode they give you like the next time on preview, and in my next episode there's just like a freaking werewolf, and they're in kind of like ain't not like Victorian or Victorian, possibly and it's just like, oh, that's gonna be crazy. He's gonna go from futuristic to in the past. So yeah, it's so weird. I don't feel bad that I've waited this long, but I'm glad it's here now. It's on HBO Max if anybody wants to stream it. I think for a long time it was on Netflix. So HBO Max is where you got to go if you want to watch Doctor Who now.
It was Netflix and I think Amazon for a while, because they're all owned by BBC, right? It's American, not American company. But I've seen everything but the newest season, I believe. The girl who took over as the newest Doctor. I didn't watch that one, but I mean, it's campy side. But you can also tell British TV production way different than American TV production. Like everything is very solidly lit across the whole board. You're like, everything is very visible right now. And you can tell it's got that. I think it's, what is it? They do a different frame rate. It's like one extra frame per second over there. based on the refresh rate. So yeah, I'm excited to hear you hopefully go into this more, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I got to imagine there's a big crossover in the Venn diagram between Star Trek fans and Doctor Who fans, because it seems like very similar DNA, right? It's like you start the episode, reuse sets if you need to, put a new layer of paint on it to make it look like a different world or a different planet. So I like all these vibes, and just like, Chris, if you could have seen my face when they showed me a talking piece of backskin, it was like a stretched out piece of flesh with a lady's face on it. And not only was the lady's face like talking to me, but she was a character from a previous episode that they were alluding to. And I was like, this is wild. I'm on board. So I'm glad everybody could get this reaction out of me for our 300th episode.
Yeah. And the face of Bo was also in the previous season. I think that might be his last appearance.
The face of Bo. Talk about a name too. Like, what are we going to name this weird head? The face of Bo. All right, that's pretty cool.
You find out where that comes from later, even. So, there's a lot of fun stuff that tie this all together. I believe it is, and I'm gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but the writers who went and did the Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch wrote a lot of these episodes. They got their work here before they went to do Sherlock. So
not surprised. I would assume over there in the UK is a lot like Canada, where you kind of have these small but very influential media markets where kind of just all of the talent circulates around to other shows. Where Hollywood is a lot bigger, so there's not as much crossover because they can go to a lot of different places. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited to hear more from this for you.
Well, you got to stay subscribed. Maybe episode 400 of Superhero Slate, I'll talk about the second episode of Doctor Who.
Like, if you watch more Doctor Who before you finish Clone Wars, I'm going to come after you. I'm going to fly out to California and come after you myself. Whether that's a promise or a threat, I don't know which one you'll take it yet. The last thing I want to point out is if you've not been playing Fortnite, next week, a week from Tuesday at 4 p.m. on December 1st, Galactus event is in Fortnite. The whole Marvel thing culminates with Galactus arriving in this game next Tuesday. I just giving people a heads up in case 4 p.m. for mine, it's 1 p.m. you. Like I'm like, thankfully I'm working at home that day because I'm like, I wouldn't normally be able to tune into this. So
have they ever put Santa Claus in the Fortnite?
Yeah,
because it would be hilarious if Santa Claus showed up to beat Galactus to start like a new winter holiday event on Fortnite.
They have done Christmas and holiday winter every year so far. Okay. The first season, I think it was season 6, they actually crashed an iceberg into the island, gave us a whole new land, and there was I guess a rugged looking Santa Claus in it. It was pretty crazy. So
okay. They're already on top of it. I'm not giving anybody any new ideas this episode.
They've got it. They've got you. So if you're not signed in, download, try it out next week. Next Tuesday, see what the Marvel stuff is. But that's about all I got. One of the characters you can play as in Fortnite, Mike, is Deadpool. Did you know that? They have a whole Deadpool season, and Deadpool 3 has gotten the writers officially, Mike.
Yes, Deadpool 3 on the rise.
On the docket, they have tapped writers Wendy Molyneaux and Lizzie Molyneaux-Loeglin. I'm going to butcher that one. They're sister writers. They are currently executive producers on Bob's Burgers, so I assume they've been working on it for a while as well.
Yeah, kind of all in that Fox family, right?
Yeah, yep. So, and it will be an R-rated film. I had to argue with one of our listeners about. They're like, "Well, Disney, it's owned by Disney, and nothing will become R-rated out of Disney." I'm like, Disney is not in the business of making Marvel movies, right? Or, like they are, but like they're also in a company that owns 20th Century Studios, which releases other properties still that can be R-rated, and I'm pretty sure Deadpool will be going there and getting its R-rated film.
Also, the number one goal of Disney, like that trumps literally everything, is making money.
Yes.
And one could argue, Deadpool could possibly make more money if it was PG-13 because it could reach a large audience. But that would totally alienate the fan base that the first 2 Deadpool movies have built. So they will not make as much money, I believe, if they made it PG-13. So theoretically, I could maybe see an argument for maybe the future of Deadpool cameoing in PG-13 movies, but yeah, it would be dumb for the new Bob over at Disney to make this PG-13.
And I believe Ryan Reynolds has signed on, and he is essentially still, the contract's still with 20th Century Studios, right, which is owned by Disney, but still with him. He would fight them tooth and nail to make sure it remained true to the character.
Yeah,
now,
and Ryan Reynolds is a commodity now too. He like Disney needs Ryan Reynolds more than Ryan Reynolds needs Disney. He just sold his like gin company for a lot of money. Like Ryan Reynolds does not need this paycheck. You know, he wants to make the project he wants to make. So he would never be attached if he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, and just tell me right now off the top of your head, Mike, other than Deadpool saying, "Hey, look at my balls," I don't think the movies don't come across as R-rated to me. Like I'd have to sit down and think like, what R-rated things were in there, you know, other than a couple blood scenes.
Yeah, it's mainly like, just swears, right? Yeah, it's like the F word. It's like lots of F words.
Yeah, lots of F words. Some occasional blood, like whenever he got like dismembered on the bridge in the first one. But like,
I mean, I don't know, so I don't quite remember the nudity that happened in 2, but there was some graphic sexual nudity in the first one.
Well, not even that. Not even so. They even covered the girl who plays Cara Dune in Mandalorian. They covered her breast whenever her top fell down. Even like
I was thinking more of the pegging scene that happened at the beginning of the first one.
Yeah. There's the calendar girl scene with that. But I mean, it's more of an illusion rather than anything else. But like at the same time, it's like you have to like dig for those R-rated cuts. Like you like. So I Disney's probably like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Now everyone's like, oh well, they'll come to Marvel now. Deadpool's not coming to Marvel. If they do, they'll have to do a different version down the road, probably, or tie it in some other way. But like,
hell, I mean, he might pop up in a multiverse scene, briefly, in whatever movie decides to continue multiverses, after Doctor Strange.
But also, like you said, Marvel doesn't need Deadpool. Deadpool doesn't need Marvel. They can exist by themselves without interacting directly in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Now, I must say, my wife really wanted me to flex on her behalf for this segment because she was like, oh, are you going to talk about this on the show? And I was like, I can work it in if you want. My wife has made a previous connection with with half of this writing team for Deadpool 3. Lizzie, how do you say her last name, Chris? I don't remember. Molyneaux. So my wife has reached out to her in the past. They were talking about Bob's Burgers. I believe they were DMing on Twitter because she's a writer. My wife is working her way up on through the writing chain. So my wife was like, you got to flex on the show and let your fans know that I have her email address and we are in correspondence. So I don't think if we get any news out of this relationship, I don't want to betray this possible professional trust. But my wife just wanted to say like, oh yeah, I got connections.
We know people in the industries, and this is one of those situations where we know someone and we can say it without alienating what's going on. So we don't have a release date for this film yet, but that's great to know that a third one is. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when this movie.
Yeah, but also just on the hiring fronts, this reminds me a lot of the news that we talked about. Was it earlier this year, maybe last year, of Marvel hiring Rick and Morty writers to work on? Was it She-Hulk?
She-Hulk, yeah.
Yeah. So I think adult animation writers should be contacting their agents right now and tell your agents to contact Feige on your behalf. You might be able to write a Marvel movie coming up.
Could you write a Marvel TV series? Either one. They to me doing that. So
there's probably a writer over at Family Guy right now that's just like, oh yeah, come on, I want to write season 2 of Moon Knight or something like that.
Yeah. So there's lots of good stuff for Deadpool here. So that's a plus. On the flip side, some unexpected news. Black Panther 2 is filming in July of next year, Mike. July of 2021. We've talked about this recently, very recently. What do? There's no announcements and there's no plans revealed for this yet. I think they're going to hold it tight to their chest. And maybe, since I don't think there will be Comic-Con next year again, or if they do, it'll be in different capacity. Marvel will probably do their own event where they announce the state of things when people are going back to the theaters and like, hey, here's our new release calendar, because they're hiring left and right to work on all this stuff, right? They're not slowing down the writing process, right, or pre-production process, because that could still happen. So I expect to get a very, very full calendar announcement next year. But Black Panther 2, to me, this release date, it has to do something.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty shocking, right? Because the tragic news of Chadwick Boseman happened really not that long ago. So, and I believe they probably had a version. Well, actually, I don't want to get too morbid, but, a business has to make long-term decisions. They probably knew about Chadwick's diagnosis, obviously, before a lot of the general public. So it makes me wonder if maybe they had two versions of the script, or at least they had a backup idea of, if Chadwick's not going to be able to be in our next movie, because seems like a pretty quick pivot, right? I mean, if you're going to be filming in, 7 months, you got to have a pretty good handle on what the script is going to be, right? Obviously, there's rooms for rewrites and revisions, and you can find a narrative in the editing process as well, but it seems like they know what they're going to do. They have made a decision if they're going to be filming. So I was talking with a friend of the show in the group chat, Quentin Parker, about Black Panther and what they're going to be doing, or what they should do, and he had a good idea of just like, if there's a way to bring Shuri into the film, I feel like he said, a good way to possibly, write Chadwick out of the film and, kind of dispense with Black Panther, for a lack of a better term, is, have him go out like a hero. Maybe he does a sacrifice move to save Shuri, and some sort of, I believe he said, science fiction explosion maybe at Shuri's doing. So she feels like she needs to redeem, what she did to her brother, but he died going out a hero. I mean, that's what the Black Panther would do. So they do have a lot of decisions to make. And I just wanted to say I did like that idea. So that is one way that you can move forward, kind of putting Shuri in that place. And I don't know if this is just rumors or reports, or if this came out of Deadline or the Hollywood Reporter, but there is kind of murmurs out there that Shuri might be taking kind of more of a prominent role in this film. So
yeah. I think that's just, again, rumors. I mean, we're at a point where we're like, I don't think they should kill him in a sacrificial thing in the movie, because I think that just does even more damage, or not damage, but like it's not respectful to the actors passing. Like, they're gonna have to do something with him, right? But like, do they mention it off screen? I don't think he should die in the movie sacrificing himself, because it's like, oh, he just died again. Like, we killed the actor died, then we killed the character, kind of thing. It feels out of touch with it. But like, what do you do? Like, and we talked about this before. Do they recast? Do they bring Shuri in? Do they, put in another Panther? But like, it seems like all the main cast is coming back, so there's that. The other thing is they actually announced actor Tenoch Huerta in the show Narcos Mexico as like one of the main, not the main villain, but a main antagonist in the film.
Cool.
I don't know what that means. Didn't we talk about before, there's rumors that there was some lady who was supposed to be coming in and trying to take over the Wakanda again, but we were like, that's very close to the first movie. So, does this person, coming from, it sounds like a Hispanic background?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I mean, it looks like he's not an African actor, so it doesn't seem like he's going to have a Wakandan origin. So one thing that we were talking about a lot, even before Chadwick's passing, was Black Panther 2 is probably going to be dealing with possibly other kingdoms, other regions, so maybe that story will continue even after the tragic news. But I mean, like, wow, there's just so many directions this movie could go. And I'm looking forward to see the creative problem solving, after this tragedy. All I know is no one should ever put words into a past person's mouth, but I would imagine, as much as Chadwick embodied and loved being this character, he wants this franchise to continue on and entertain audiences and really positively impact the community the way the first movie did. So I'm sure he's okay with whatever just keeps those kind of values alive in the movie. So I don't think he would ever want them to stop making Wakandan based stories. So
exactly.
So I just want to say it is okay to be excited for Black Panther 2, and hopefully whatever aspect they develop it.
Yeah, exactly. They are going to do it, and obviously the mastermind Kevin Feige, who plans out all the movies, the whole future of this we've been in good hands. So we'll
prepare to cry. That's going to happen for sure.
It's gonna be a touching film with some touching moments. For sure. Ant-Man 3 is normally I wouldn't cover this, Mike, but I know you are an artist, if you will, if you want to label yourself that, who likes concept design stuff, right? But Ant-Man 3 has hired Star Wars and James Bond No Time to Die concept designer Will Htay, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce it, Htay, for this movie. Now, I only say this because he did The Force Awakens, Rogue One, and Solo concept artwork. Designer, and he also worked on Edge of Tomorrow and Jupiter Ascending movies.
Yeah, it seems like they would be very comfortable with kind of doing sci-fi, technology, maybe otherworldly type of things. Yeah. So yeah, that could be a hint at what could be in this movie.
Exactly, and working on those larger films, it seems pretty cool. Like how often do you get someone's like, yeah, he did Star Wars concept is like. I don't know a lot of people who do Star Wars concept design, right? Like they actually go with at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So we'll see him be doing the production design for Ant-Man 3. Kind of, he's gonna get really comfortable at drawing Kang. Probably he's probably already really good at it. So like, yeah, you need to be on this. Lots
project.
of quantum realm colors. A lot of splashes of circles everywhere.
I would imagine there's lots of decision making in his head of what shade of pink should I make Kang? What's too cartoony? What's realistic? What's an homage to what people are familiar with? But yeah, Kang in his pink armor.
Yeah, that well, it's a purple.
Is it like purple? Is it purple pink? Yeah. Okay, either way, he's got some color decisions to make.
I just imagine him looking at everything through a kaleidoscope for this film. Like the one man buying a kaleidoscope in 2020 is this guy looking at it like, all right, is this too Doctor Strange or is it more Ant-Man? We gotta tone it back a little bit. Miss Marvel is currently filming as well, Mike. One of the few shows that's out there filming, and we got some on-set photos here from.
I love these. This is great. I can't wait to talk about this.
So we have actress Iman Vellani dressed up as Captain Marvel, filming her show Miss Marvel, to the point where she has on a glowing light-up helmet that represents the Mohawk. Like this looks like stuff you go buy right now in a store and give your kid.
That's what I was thinking too. I would assume there's lots of really reactionary hot take type of people that would look at this and go like, oh my God, her costume is atrocious. Look at this low budget nightmare. But it's just like, this is pretty obviously like a proto Miss Marvel. She, if you know her character at all, she is a Captain Marvel fangirl. So she probably has all of the merch, all of the collectibles, all of the con exclusive. This is probably like a con exclusive helmet that she waited in line to buy. And, she's going out ready to do, it looks like a mission. I forget this character's name, but she does have like a best friend in the comic books that kind of teams up with her, and this kind of looks like that could be this person.
Yeah. Well, I think from what I understand, this is like a newer actor here who plays like normally in the comics like her like boyfriend love interest kind of thing. So he also looks like he's like, I know he's on a step, but like also like 3 feet taller than her.
Yeah, like it's a pretty big height difference there. But yeah, this looks like it's gonna be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to see, like, I love costumes. I love live action superhero costumes. So this makes me excited for the moment where she finally gets a real legit costume that fits her properly and she can really feel like a hero.
Yeah, and she never ever wears Captain Marvel stuff. But does it look like that guy is also in like a scientist costume as well, possibly?
Yeah, he's got like it looks like homemade, like, right? It looks like it was made in a garage or like an attic or something like that. There's some like LED lights. There's like a little mechanical computer thing on the back of the helmet. So he must be nerdy. I don't remember his character archetype in the comic books, but
I think this, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this was just like a Halloween outing and they were like, okay, we're going to be sneaking in our costumes.
Yeah, the biggest question I have, and I suppose there's many ways you could explain this in the TV show. You're going to have multiple episodes that set up this narrative. But if she has all this Captain Marvel merch, like she even has like a bicycle helmet on the back of her backpack, from the moments we've seen Captain Marvel in the movies, she's really never made a big impact on the population, right? You could really argue Captain America is out there in the world, especially Iron Man, but Captain Marvel, her movie took place in the 90s and she just kind of got out of Dodge and nobody really remembers her. And then she kind of shows back up to save everybody in that big final battle. I suppose if somebody on the ground had footage of her blowing up these big spaceships, she could get like a cult following. But yeah, they're going to need to explain how this girl got so enthralled in Captain Marvel, because she hasn't really made like a big presence on the population as far as I can tell.
Right. Well, there's also 5 years where she was on Earth before she went out to space in Endgame. So I assume it's in that range. Like she was
Yeah.
there. She showed up right as soon as the population ended. She was one of the Avengers that killed Thanos. So
Maybe this little girl was saved by Captain Marvel. So maybe she hasn't been watching like news reports and YouTube videos. Like maybe she was literally saved by Captain Marvel in kind of like a little one-off mission.
Yeah, but that's licensed merchandise she's wearing there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so she like this. I assume the Avengers, like we lost half the people, but the Avengers defeated Thanos. Kind of was like the big thing during that time. Everything was closed down, I guess. The other thing I would think of is and I lost. She's an Inhuman. How does she get her powers? That again. I'm a big Inhuman. Like
huge question.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting to hear that. But I think this is cool to see her dressed up literally as Captain Marvel, where she gets her namesake from. So kudos to those. And this kind of brought me up the question: what Marvel properties are currently in production right now? Because everyone was like, "Well, what about Eternals?" I'm like, "Eternals has been in the can and filmed for a long time."
They want you to see it. They have it done. It was supposed to. Was it this month? Right?
No. It was November.
Yeah,
we're a month. It was earlier this month, so we'd be a month into it. Black Widow's done. Shang-Chi is done, except for like post production, and that'll be out next summer. So people are like, well, what's going on? So right now, Spider-Man 3 is filming. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is ramping up in England. Thor: Love and Thunder is filming in Australia. Miss Marvel, as we just saw, was filming in Atlanta, and Hawkeye is starting to film as well. Jeremy Renner was recently getting a face cast done because they think they're going to give him the purple mask in the upcoming show. So,
ooh, okay.
The only thing we're missing here is She-Hulk and Moon Knight that I can think of that's coming up. Is there anything that you're seeing here?
Yeah, the only thing I know about this is I believe Spider-Man 3, its kind of secret production name is another Seinfeld reference. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I do think it's funny that it's another Seinfeld reference.
Oh, yeah.
So you can go, if you happen to see, if you're in New York and you see a Seinfeld reference on a sign of filming, that's Spider-Man 3. Please take some pictures.
Yeah, please do. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe, is done as well. That was the other thing. But
yeah, they were like in reshoots like the other week, but they're probably done with that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm trying to just kind of going through here. Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2 are the only ones after that. So, we'll see if they do some more announcements. Blade that we know is coming eventually should probably get an announcement.
As I hope they're very safe. I hope nobody gets sick. I hope they're using their money accordingly to pay people well and keep them away from other people. Do whatever you can. But life finds a way. Money finds a way. All of these properties mean big bucks. So hopefully nobody gets sick at the expense of the dollar.
Yeah, I don't think they will because if they can't lose another actor, Mike. We just talked about it. So don't lose an actor in the middle of your production, really, is the goal.
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 2, halfway through, I believe, or a little close to half. The Ahsoka Tano is rumored to be in next week's episode, Mike. That's why I wanted to let you know.
No, I got a lot of stuff I need to watch then.
you got a Thanksgiving crunch to do here.
You keep talking. I'm gonna pull up the Disney Plus app and see how far I am along in season 6. I don't think it's very far, so I think I got a bit to watch.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I think you can skip some of 7 as well. And you just need the back half of season 7. But there's rumored this rumor that's this week, and it's also rumored to be an episode directed by Dave Filoni, who is given the reins as creator of the character.
He's our god of Star Wars right now. Chris and I would love to shake his hand. I'm on episode 3 of season 6.
Okay.
So I gotta put a few hours into this. I'll find a way. You know what I'll do? I'll put it on. I've been wanting to give my attention to it, but I think what I'll do is I'll put it on in like a corner window while I'm working, so I can kind of still get the narrative that I need out of it, but I can also work.
Yeah, I think you can probably actually, if I look at this, you can probably skip some of these, because season 6 is considered the lost episodes, if you will.
Oh.
They were in production before it was canceled, and they put these all on Netflix. So I can probably get you a quick list of 6 and 7 that you need to watch, so you don't have to go through all of these.
Yeah, go ahead. Anything that gets me closer, because like Ahsoka going live action, also with Rosario Dawson, like that's going to be a fun moment. And if she's rumored to be in next week's episode, that makes me really excited, because I thought we were going to have to wait till the very end of the season, because that seemed like a reveal that they would want to hold on to.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they're going to give us a couple episodes with her, because she would be a big grab for a couple episodes.
Yeah. Not only is it a big deal that it's Ahsoka, but this is going to be the first time we see a Jedi in Mandalorian. So we've yet to see like a proper lightsaber. We've seen the dark saber, but like she's probably going to be busting out a lightsaber doing Force stuff. I mean, she's going to have deep insight into Baby Yoda. I mean, I guess she could technically be in the episode and not cross paths with Mando. They could be kind of do two concurrent storylines, but yeah, it's going to be a big moment. She can be like, oh, I can tell you exactly what this creature is. You know, I can tell you what the Force is. I can explain so much to you. There's so much narrative dump Ahsoka can give Mando and clear up a lot of stuff. But we don't. It seems like we're probably going to wait for a big seminal moment like that to talk more Mandalorian on the show. But non-spoilers, Baby Yoda trying to help Mando fix the ship was so cute.
Yeah, he's definitely a blast. I love all the he's obsessed with food, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I just look here.
Same.
Ahsoka Tano is not in season 6 at all of the Clone Wars. Yeah.
Really? Why am I watching it then?
I don't know. It was on the list I gave you.
Oh wow! I can't believe she's not. So, well, I guess it makes sense if they're all lost episodes.
Yeah, they weren't finished. And technically, spoilers, in season 5 she leaves the Jedi Order.
I saw that.
Yeah. So you said you're on episode 3, or you've watched episode 3?
No, I'm on episode 3. It says start episode 3.
Okay, watch 3 and 4.
Okay.
The first 4 deal with the clones and Order 66.
Uh-huh.
And then skip right into episode 5 of season 7.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you're going to have to text that to me, but that's good. That'll get me jump started and going.
Yeah, that way you can skip. These other ones you can go back and watch. Won't be a problem. Season 7, the first 4 episodes deal with the Bad Batch, who has a spin-off show lader, but you won't lose anything with that. So, cool. There we go. That's our Star Wars news for this week. So hopefully we get to see, that'd be a great Thanksgiving conversation to have with your family. You get to talk about that.
Well, I guess it's Black Friday conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Post. Was it Zoom's removing their limits on Thanksgiving and Black Friday for stuff?
When I saw that news, I just thought some people were just like shattered, because I know people are strategically using that time limit to not just be on calls forever with their family. They're just like, oh, sorry, I got to go. It's been 45 minutes. Yeah. So, sorry, you're going to have to talk to your family a little bit longer.
That's fine. You know what? I'm just going to jump into this. The biggest news we had this week involved Wonder Woman 1984 officially releasing in theaters and HBO Max on Christmas Day.
Wow, finally. We get to watch it. Obviously, we're going to talk about all the implications of this decision, but this is good news for the general public, right? Yes. Everyone wants to see this movie. We were supposed to see it months ago. We were looking forward to it. Finally, the sequel to Wonder Woman, finally the first really solid thing that this kind of new DC universe gave us. They've worked, they've done more, but Wonder Woman was kind of like the first bright shining light. We finally get to see her proper sequel on Christmas. Talk about a day to watch it too.
Yes. So we get the to me, this is from the producers, this is the best of both markets, right? Internationally, where they've opened up the world and their COVID cases have been handled, they can go to the theaters and make money. HBO Max are going to get subscribers, and we can actually watch it on Christmas Day and review it for you guys that weekend. I think this is a great mix of both. Hopefully this is something that goes forward with a lot of other films, or at least some sort of mix and match of this. Did you
hint,
see?
Hint, cough, cough, Black Widow.
Yeah. So, there are AMC signed a new distribution deal with some other theater, maybe Warner Brothers. If it doesn't make over a certain amount of dollars the first week, it can go to a video on demand within 2 weeks. If it makes over a certain amount, it has to stay for a full month. Opening weekend, which I'm like, this is a weird math. I don't get it. You producers can handle this.
Yeah, we're lawyers. We don't have to worry about the math.
Yeah, but
we're not lawyers.
Exactly. But people were worried this film would get stale if they kept pushing it back and back. That's a concern. What does that mean for this movie? If you're worried it's going to get stale.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
that
set in
does
84, so it's not like it's new stuff.
Yeah, but that is the only real logical explanation for this, right? If we're talking about the strategy, I'm obviously glad they made the decision because we get to watch it for free on HBO Max. That's an important note. We don't have to pay the $30 Mulan money to watch it. We get to watch it just straight up for free. I mean, even if you don't have HBO Max, you could get like a week-long free trial, or hell, I don't even know how long the trials are.
It's worth the $12 for you
exactly.
and everybody to watch it.
Yeah, and plus you'll get a whole month of HBO Max. There's tons of crap on there you can watch. But yeah, the decision really seems like they were leaving money on the table, right? If you just wait a little bit longer, because we've already seen Black Widow is delayed until hopefully we're back into a more normal marketplace. It seems like Wonder Woman could have easily have done that too. But yeah, it does make a little bit more sense where it's just like, the only place I've been going this whole pandemic is the grocery store. I've already seen all of the Wonder Woman Dorito bags get phased out for the holiday Dorito bags, right? You know, the cross marketing stuff has already expired. You know, we've already gone through all of the Wonder Woman marketing blitz. All that's left is the movie, right? So I could technically see the idea of, what if this movie does come out next year? People are kind of sick and tired of seeing all of the media around it. And, you know, people would still go to the movie, right? But maybe it wouldn't be breaking records. You know, maybe it wouldn't quite raise up to the success of the first one. And then you have all of these experts coming in like, it looks like Wonder Woman 2 couldn't quite reach the bar. What's Patty Jenkins going to do next? You know, how is she going to top? She still hasn't topped what she did with Wonder Woman 1. You know, there's all these hot takes that you can take. So, and I believe Patty Jenkins was kind of one of the final decision makers, because she released a statement that was just like, I finally come to the decision. I feel like it's best to give the people what they want, you know, so I'm sure that she had a hand in the decision, but
you know, money
there's
lots of
yeah, exactly. There's lots of ways you can justify this. So, I mean, this is a boon for sure for HBO Max, because the other premium movie that they've had was American Pickle. I mean, I know it's Seth Rogen, but you know, that movie wasn't exactly like a huge get for them compared to Wonder Woman. So man, Christmas Day, big movie day for the world. You know, people can't go out to the movies like they normally would for their holiday tradition, but now you can watch. This is AAA tentpole on streaming for free. Big deal.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing is, you know, again, this is, you know, we could look at like Disney, but like Disney doesn't need Disney Plus subscribers. They are the second biggest streamer right now, right? Compared to right behind Netflix, which has longevity to its name. HBO Max is trailing horribly in terms of subscription numbers. Right? It's come out. It's not really, like you said. What's that draw? What's that original content on HBO Max? They put all the HBO shows on there, so you can get, what was it you were watching? Lovecraft Country.
Doctor Who.
Well, Doctor Who, Lovecraft Country is what I was going for. Watchmen's on there.
Yeah, they have the premium content, but they need to get new, fresh eyeballs, right? I don't think a lot of people make their streaming decisions based on old catalog stuff. Right. I think they're just like, what's the hot new thing everybody's watching? I need to get in on that. And then once you get them locked in, they stay because of the kind of archive stuff.
Well, it's also easy to not unrenew a subscription, you know. And HBO Max, I mean, I use it pretty frequently. I watch a lot of regular show as a background noise, 10-minute episodes.
The catalog is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everything on there is so awesome, you know, so it's worth the money, but you got to convince people to get on board.
And if you don't have HBO Max, this is, you know, this is a huge draw. This is one of the first big, like, this is something that you would normally only see in theaters. Guess what? Now you get it with your $12 to $15 HBO Max thing. So people are going to... I expect to see a lot of good numbers for the producers come whatever December. But at the same time, you know, either trying to make HBO Max a home for DC, especially with the Justice League coming out next year as well, which I think we'll talk about. Talk about that here in a second. So, I mean, this is great. I think this is probably like the biggest news this week. I don't think there's any bad way you can slice this, Mike. Like, this is a nice slice of Christmas delight right here.
It's great for consumers.
Yes, especially us, so we can finally watch it and give you guys a review. But on the flip side, Justice League, they keep threatening us with this, Mike. The Snyder Cut's coming out again.
Oh, my God.
We got a new trailer this week. They did it first in black and white, and then, like, It was over 8 hours later, Mike, when they came out with the color version.
Chris, I feel like I'm starting to come down from my caffeine just in time to talk about this trailer.
There's nothing horrible with the trailer. It's just nothing new. There's a couple new shots. You get to see Darkseid come through some Mother Box portal. A couple action scenes of some Amazonians and Atlanteans fighting this thing.
Ray Fisher looking out a window.
Yeah. So like, there's nothing huge here. Again, Hallelujah song over and over again.
This trailer pushed me over the edge, Chris. I mean,
this was it.
Obviously,
this was it.
I mean, I think it was just because it trended. It hit the media news cycle for a day for a trailer that was almost nearly identical, and it's just like I'm so exhausted with Zack Snyder. There are obviously some fans out there that are still excited for this. I watched a reaction video of two super fans of Snyder react to this trailer because like we're about to say, there's a black and white and a color trailer. So like the only way I could find the color trailer was them reacting to it. And the person said that they had seen the previous version of this trailer so many times. And I'm just like, wait, why would you watch it so many times? That when they were live reacting, he could easily point out the new stuff like in a microsecond. So there's obviously people still very obsessed with this, but it's just like Zack Snyder thinks he's making the next Citizen Kane. Like he's putting out the trailer in black and white. It's in a weird aspect ratio that's not just for marketing purposes, because it's not a square like for Instagram, and it's not portrait. It's like this weird kind of like 4:3. The corners are rounded, so he's trying to do like a classic kind of projection look to it that just like over the head the theme song that is just like, oh, look at this amazing piece of art that I'm doing, hallelujah. It's just like I've just gone totally over the edge. I just cannot put up with this anymore. Like Snyder is like so up his own butt with this movie, and it's just like I'm going to watch it because it's such a weird, unique moment in filmmaking, right? Where a director gets to go back. Obviously, we've talked about this to death that this has happened before, but it's so unique. I have to watch it. But God, am I sick and tired of the Snyder Cut?
When he acts like this delivering of the Snyder Cut is some sort of coming to Jesus moment for everybody. Right? Like that's why the Hallelujah song's there, and people will be like, "Well, no, you're wrong." I'm like, "No, this is a vanity project for Zack Snyder at this point. It is not actually providing anything that's relevant or long term serving for anybody but himself."
What's the final line in the trailer that just made me want to kill myself?
Not us united.
Oh, not us united. It's just like, oh, what are we, some sort of Suicide Squad? We're kind of like a Fantastic Four group of people, right? It's just like, I can't stand this. It just needs to blow up. I hope the hard drives fry because he's gone into them and accessed them too many times, and he's just burned out the drives. Like, sorry, the Snyder Cut literally exploded. You're not getting it.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. We can't get out of it at this point. But it is
someone hack into the cloud and delete it. I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, well, that's fine because the next thing I'm actually gonna give this a compliment. They have a very awesome looking mohawked Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke in this movie, right?
Yeah, but this is pretty cool. I like
he was only in it for like a second last time, but he looks so cool. He looks badass. Can you imagine? He was the guy beating up Peter Parker in Spider-Man 1, right? He was Flash Thompson in that first Spider-Man trilogy.
Oh, he wasn't he?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, so now
I forgot.
Full circle playing. I mean, he's obviously not this old to have white hair. They've dyed his hair white. But man, does he just look so cool. He looks awesome in this. So
an eye patch on anybody already makes them more badass.
But the shaved sides, the mohawk, the goatee, the armor. I'd watch a Deathstroke movie with Joe Manganiello.
Now, is he going to get an actual? Is he going to get an actual fight scene? Because this is different hair than we saw in the after credit scene where we've seen him before. So is he going to throw? Is he going to throw bones? What's happening?
If anything, I hope he's the one who breaks Lex Luthor out of prison, so we get a prison fight scene with him.
Oh, okay.
That's my goal. I mean, they're adding 5 minutes of footage to this, Mike, off like $30 million to spend. I don't know what we want from there. But this looks cool. I'll give him this. I'll give him this. This was actually a pretty big win out of this. So hopefully we get to see more of it. Knock on wood. On the flip side of this, the Batman series, that spinoff series that we're like, why are they doing this? Right? We've already got a Gotham show before.
So this was the other Gotham show,
right? It's the Gotham Chronicles, whatever the spinoff from the Batman movie was going to be. Has lost the showrunner Terrence Winter due to creative differences with both Matt Reeves and the producers. So thrilling, right?
I mean, it makes. I mean, that would happen makes sense, right? I mean, this show has to be very connected to the Batman movie. So if it's creative differences with Matt Reeves, it sounds like he wanted to take it in a different direction than his movie. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Right. Again, I beg you the question: is do we need another Gotham show that doesn't have anything to do with Batman? Do we? I mean, it's fine. So, I mean, I think we're going to get this. It's going to HBO Max. I think it'll be fun. Hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it can deal with some, the villains without it just being like a criminal, like police procedural show that they just deal with. Like, oh, we got some bad cops on the force. We gotta weed them out.
I mean, if you're a creator, if you're a director, if you're a showrunner that gets put on a superhero project, maybe don't be surprised if you don't get full creative control over it. I mean, at this point in time, it's just like obviously you're gonna have to fit yourself inside of a box. I'm not too worried that they're losing showrunners because we haven't even seen this Batman movie yet, so we don't even know if it's gonna be good. So I'll wait until I see it.
Either they're gonna fire someone else or just get rid of the show completely. One of the two at this point. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, it is what it is. The surprising news I saw yesterday or Saturday or Friday. Yesterday was Friday. Saturday. Friday was Black Lightning is coming to an end after this upcoming season. 4 seasons. Apparently, from what I hear, people who watch it, they said it's actually getting into its stride. It's getting really, really good in this 4 seasons. It's got a lot of representation for minorities in it as well, and mostly there's the main guy Black Lightning, but he had strong, superpowered daughters as well. And they're still playing on that Painkiller spinoff. That's why they're putting this in this season as well. So I'm sad. This is a second CW show ending this year. The other one being Supergirl.
I'm glad just because it seems like it's going to go out on top. I mean, it makes sense that it would be in its stride right about now. If I remember correctly, Black Lightning each season was about 13 episodes. I don't know if those episode orders got larger in the subsequent seasons, but if those episode orders stayed about the same, the 4th season would kind of be equivalent to possibly the end of the 2nd season of like The Flash or Arrow. So that's when those kind of shows hit their stride as well, because after so many episodes of any of these characters, you really kind of start to run out of steam. A lot of the writing staff and the showrunners move on or start to do other stuff or get distracted with other things. So I'm glad that they're going out on top, just because I can't remember the main actor's name who plays Black Lightning. I used to know his name off the top of my head, but he's a really cool guy. I've listened to him in some I don't think it's Chris Williams.
Chris Williams is Black Lightning.
That's Cress Williams. That's what it is.
Cress.
Oh, I thought you said Chris.
No.
Yeah, Cress Williams. I've listened to him in interviews before. He's really, really cool. He loves that he was in this role back around season 1 when I was listening to this interview. So I'm glad he gets to go out on top. And I don't know anything about Painkiller, but I guess if you like the show, you get to continue a little bit in the universe with this character.
Yeah, hopefully. Again, they haven't committed to a season. Hopefully the backdoor pilot works. That's how The Flash worked. But I think what's is they did all these crossovers and merged all these universes, right? These shows into one universe, and then they've like canceled half of them or more. So we get the upcoming, was it Lois and Clark or whatever it is, Lois and Superman, Superman and Lois. And then I guess the Flash is still somehow finding other speedsters for him to fight.
I think production on Superman and Lois has been delayed as well because I think they had a COVID scare, so that's being delayed as well. So
and most of these are in Canada, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's usually Vancouver. I believe Black Lightning was in Atlanta though. Yeah. But if we're talking Lois, Superman, or whatever the show's called, I believe it's Vancouver.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely sad to see these Berlanti shows wrap up. Maybe we'll see some of these some new characters pop up maybe in HBO Max shows because they're trying to put them all there. But for the free over the air channels like the CW, it's losing content. That's sad. But hopefully we get to see something come out of these ashes like we always do with those shows. The Last of Us, Mike, the show was greenlit for series at HBO Max.
Hey,
finally. So,
there we go.
So not just the pilot; they're giving it the whole go with the series.
Good. I mean, good news for me, but man, the Twitter thread responses, man, the anti fanboys, or I guess maybe they'd be fanboys of the first game and haters of the second game. I hate these people. I hate these people that just don't quite understand the narrative choices of putting Abby in the game, and they're just like, oh, they better not put Abby in the second or third season. I'm gonna hate it. They should change it. They can fix it. They finally have a chance to fix it. And there's all these really dumb memes of like the writer of the game, and they're using his face, and it's just like, what a toxic fan base.
Yeah.
It's worse than Rick and Morty, which is saying something. The fan base, not the show, the fan base. So I'm down for this. Craig Mazin, the showrunner, he's a really cool guy. I know his personality kind of rubs people the wrong way, but he has a podcast called Script Notes. So if you really want to get inside the show creator's head, go listen to Script Notes. Yeah, I'm down for this. I'm down to clown, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, again, if you make a change in something, and people just video game people are the worst.
Yes.
I mean, I know we've bitched about the Peter Parker change that he did for the game, but I mean, it's not enough for me to go threaten people or like the game series is ruined. I'm like,
yeah,
whatever. I just like it, but it's fine.
The people at Cyberpunk getting like death threats for delays. I mean, they're adult children. I mean, I don't think anybody who is an adult that plays video games is immature, but I mean, there's a good place to find a lot of immature people for sure, but God, leave these people alone.
yeah, exactly. I'm just like, it's not, I mean, they're just there to, they're there to do what they think is right. And essentially, like video games to me are considered an art form, right? You have to write for them and design them and make them look good. So like, it is their choice. And that's, if you don't like it, fuck off. Nice way to put it. Speaking of video games, I think this was a really cool bit of news here. The Hitman people, IO Interactive, are making the next James Bond game called Project 007.
That's awesome.
It's an origin for James Bond. So this is the first time I think it's ever been done. We talked about what does that look like? learning your skills as you kind of go.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Brian Smith, he's a big Hitman fan, like huge Hitman fan. He's like, he said the games make you feel like you're either walking through the slums of somewhere or like the high class parts of somewhere else, like a James Bond movie would do, kind of thing. So I'm excited to see what this looks like. We also joked that they should do DLC based on all the other movies. So like you get to play like Moonraker later on.
That'd be funny.
DLCs, but don't expect. People were like, "Well, is it GoldenEye?" It's not GoldenEye. Like this is going to be like a Hitman style third person.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, some of my favorite parts in the Spider-Man games is tackling encounters and stealth, and I would imagine James Bond is going to have a lot of stealth involved.
Yeah.
It's going to have action parts involved, gadgets.
Yes.
Also, that's the coolest part about his character with the gadgets. So that's perfect for a video game. So this sounds like it's going to be premium, which is good.
Yes, IO Interactive, they've been really good with their Hitman stuff. Anything I've ever watched on the new what we're calling current gen consoles, which are the next gens, everyone has always pulled out the Hitman games. Because apparently they pushed the last gen consoles to like their breaking point, and like the new ones like run them perfectly. So I've watched a lot of Hitman footage lately. I'm like, I could totally see this being James Bond. But could you imagine also some of the car levels where you get like upgrade some like maybe some racing levels with those cars they always have?
Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff you could do.
Yeah, so,
with the car.
Yeah, so gadgets.
It better be invisible. It better be invisible like Pierce Brosnan's car on that ice.
On the ice. Yeah, remember I watched those earlier this year. What an adventure that was.
What a life you lead.
Yeah. Predator, another one coming out this time by Dan Trachtenberg, director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was a good one.
I'm a Dan Trachtenberg super fan. If you've listened to all 300 episodes, you already know why. But Dan Trachtenberg used to be on like this nerd vlog / podcast called The Totally Rad Show. And it was really cool watching kind of him progress through his career because the show went on for quite a few years. And there's a really cool moment in the Totally Rad Show where he finally starts to book directing jobs because he was always directing as a career while he was doing the Totally Rad Show, like reviewing movies and video games and board games and stuff like that. But in the certain year when this happened, he had to stop reviewing movies because he finally stopped directing commercials and started directing like real feature stuff. And he didn't want to make his you don't want to rub your peers the wrong way by reviewing their stuff. So I've been following Dan Trachtenberg for a really, really long time, going from basically nerd, just like us, just talking about all this pop culture stuff, to actually making this stuff now. So 10 Cloverfield Lane is a great movie. Before he did that, he did a Portal short film that went viral. That's really, really good. He's been attached to a ton of stuff that hasn't quite taken taken off, and he directed the first episode of The Boys season 1.
That was my thing. Like, we talked about The Boys a lot. He did the first episode after Seth Rogen and his other guy, Goldberg, whatever, couldn't direct it. Had to drop out. So, and he's always been attached to Why the Last Man adaptation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's still doing that or not, but that's where I know him from. So he's been doing a lot of stuff. But I mean, I think this is a good choice for this.
Bottom line, he's a nerd that has a lot to prove. So that's great. 10 Cloverfield Lane was good. It was his debut. So now I think he really wants to prove to everybody that wasn't a fluke. I'm still really good at what I do. So yeah, really looking forward to this. I never caught that last Predator movie. What was it? Was that a Mick G movie? Who directed that?
Oh, I don't think so.
It was somebody else. It was like one of those like
Shane
directors.
Black,
yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. Who is known for doing great work, but that was a piss poor film.
Yeah, so you can only go up from there. So we're watching out for you, Danny.
Yeah. The third one, I don't know if you ever watched it, Predators. Pretty good actually. That one's got the guy who played Venom, 70s show.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, he's in it. He did a really good
don't
job.
don't they go to the Predator planet?
Yeah, they
like
bring some
down?
people to the planet to hunt them there. Yeah, it's really good. It's like that Star Wars episode you watch where they hunt the Jedi and people with the lizard things, but better. Lastly, this is an interesting thing here. A new superhero property come from director Robert Rodriguez coming out called We Can Be Heroes. Now, I only put this in here because it is the sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and it actually starts off with the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal.
I was really confused. I actually didn't know it was called We Can Be Heroes because everywhere that's been talking about this is just calling it Shark Boy and Lava Girl Return. So I was like, Chris, did you type the notes wrong? I don't see that anywhere. But this is strange because, Chris, I believe if you do the math with our ages, I think we were just outside the window for this being nostalgic for us.
Well, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, the first one.
Yeah.
No, that came out the year I graduated high school in 2005.
Yeah, so we have no nostalgia for this whatsoever.
Yes. Exactly, but it's Robert Rodriguez doing a superhero film. He cut his teeth on Spy Kids, so it's got that Spy Kids vibe with very bad.
This reminds me of like George Miller doing the Babe movie and the Penguin movie, right?
Yeah,
these really hardcore directors just looking for a nice paycheck and maybe something that their kids can watch.
Yeah, exactly. And then it had a Taylor Lautner before he did the Twilight stuff as the Shark Boy, who is not returning in this as Shark Man, I guess. But it's for kids. These kids have superpowers. We've got a lot of adult superhero stuff lately, so this is very much a live action kid movie that Robert Rodriguez is coming to do. So it's not.
This looks like a perfect fit for Netflix for the type of quality that they like to produce feature wise.
Exactly, and I have no qualms. I don't think I'll watch it, but I have no qualms with them making it. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Spy Kids is a little closer. I think that came out before Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I think all three of them did before.
Yeah, so Spy Kids, that might be a little bit more retro. I'm a little closer to that, but yeah, these were never, ever in my wheelhouse. But I do like how Danny Trejo was in, I think, one of the Spy Kids movies, and I like and follow Danny Trejo's career. So
I think he was in all three of them as like the uncle.
Yeah, I think so, right? I'm
gonna have to pull it up here because again, it came out. There's like 6 of them now. Holy crap! But it was Alan Cummings who played Nightcrawler in X-Men 2 as a villain in one of them as well. Like they had a bunch of people in it, but it was like when you think Robert Rodriguez, right? You think of like El Mariachi or
I think of Blood and Violence when I think of him.
but he's making these fun kid movies that are like kids have superpowers and then have this little background to it. But I think it's fine. I think these are Antonio Banderas and Carly Gugino as the parents. So yeah, this is fun stuff. I don't think it's like their serious stuff, but like there's a room for them. But yeah. Oh well, We Can Be Heroes. January 1st, 2021 on Netflix. Sign up with the kids. That's it for the episode 300, Mike. We made it.
Wow, we did it. 300 in the can.
Yes, we did. And that's not counting review. People are like, does that count reviews? We do not count reviews in these. These are 300 news episodes. I think there's like 60 something reviews, which is we're not going to count here. But like
divide by 50. We've been around here for about 6 years now.
on the first of the year, we will have completed 6 full years, starting our 7th. So it's it doesn't feel like that. I feel like we still started this like a year ago. But we just got all this new equipment we tested at the start of the episode. We've got a bunch of stuff. I mean, like I said, we'll only stop doing this when they cancel superhero movies and TV shows, and sounds like they're still coming out.
Yeah, this is a real fly-by-night operation over here, so stay tuned.
Yeah, so people know what you're up to and what you're doing. Where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. Where to do that, you can play some video games with me. Like I said, Fortnite Nexus things coming out next week, 4 o'clock. Be there, be square. And then we'll also be doing was it Spider-Man next week, so be ready for that. People know more about the show or reviews, all the other fun stuff. Where can they find those at?
Oh, all you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. That is the hub for the show for the last 6 years. If you want to find anything about our show, just go ahead on over to superheroslate.com. You can get our show notes there. So if you want to see everything that we talked about on this week's episode, if you want to watch that god-awful Justice League trailer for the second time where barely anything changes and it's in a weird aspect ratio and I hate everything about it, you can find that in our show notes. But, go to the show notes to see those Captain Marvel set photos.
Miss Marvel.
Captain Marvel? No, Miss Marvel. That's right. Those are really fun. You want to check those out. And you can also find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you love to listen to find podcasts like ours. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know how to fleet, and I don't know if I will be fleeting on Twitter, so you don't have to worry about looking for that over on Twitter. I'm just going to tweet like normal until things change. But you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love it when you reach out and let me know if I need to adjust my mic any further for the next 300 episodes moving forward, and I will do all of those adjustments live on quote-unquote camera so you can hear me change in real time. But really, we do love the feedback. Let us know what you're doing for the holidays. What are your holiday traditions? I'm sure we're going to be recommending our favorite holiday movies once we surpass the Thanksgiving holiday, and because we love stuff like that. Krampus, I finally convinced my wife to watch Krampus this year, and she can't duck out of it. I'm holding her to it because she's a big scaredy baby, but I told her it's fun and she's not going to be too scared. So if you like watching Krampus like us, please reach out and let us know. Yeah, you want to be a super fan of this show? Have you been listening to... I'll go ahead and say, if you've listened to all 300 episodes, you don't have to do jack shit anymore. You're a super fan for life. You don't need to keep sharing the show. You've done your due diligence. But if you're not a 300 completionist, 100% for the show, and you want to be a super fan of Superhero Slate, just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy. We will be here every week, obviously. We are very consistent, and I am officially out of caffeine, Chris. The episode is wrapped. I've exhausted my 240 milligrams that came from this rock star.
Yeah, it's dinner time here. Myself, I'm going to go grab some of that and edit the show, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
I wish we had more good news for our 300th episode, but you know what? We'll take it.
I mean, there's some cool stuff in there. I can complain about Justice League for a while.